Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So as I've mentioned in other videos, in case you haven't caught it, I am going to be leaving the platform with the initials TT, the video platform. So this is my last month on that platform in December of 2024. So if you like these videos that I do, if you like the show, please head over to the other video platform with the initials YT and search for Raw News and Politics. Please subscribe over there. Appreciate that. So now on to the news. 30-year-old Virginia resident and Marine veteran Phi Duong was a member of the anti-government group called the Boys. So this is different than the Proud Boys. It's just called the Boys. Prior to reaching the Capitol, Duong and one of his friends ran into another person in Freedom Plaza, and Duong asked this person if he was a quote-unquote patriot. The man said yes, and then this person asked Duong the same question, "Are you a patriot?" And Duong replied, quote, that he was, quote, an operative and that he was going to the White House. So Duong was wearing all black, and he had a Japanese face mask on and goggles. And he told this man that he chose this particular outfit because he wanted to blend in with Antifa. And then he exchanged phone numbers with this other person, and then they went their separate ways. Well, later that day, Duong texted this man, and he said that he was heading to the Capitol. What Duong didn't know, though, is that this person was an undercover officer. So when Duong arrived at the Capitol, he saw and he spoke with people who had been hit with pepper spray. He was seen and heard on video picking up a rubber bullet from the ground, and he said, quote, "They're shooting at us." So he knew they were not allowed in the building. They were, not welcome on the Capitol grounds. Yet he continued on. He was eventually seen illegally entering the Capitol. He entered through the Senate wing door. And there were other people climbing in and out of windows on either side of him. So again, not a peaceful protest, not, people being let in, as they keep saying. So Duong walked through various areas of the Capitol. He exited on the opposite side of the building, and then sometime later, he left the Capitol grounds. As he was walking away from the building, Duong was heard telling two other people, quote, "They broke in, they had to use tear gas. There is now National Guard in there with rifles. I have it on my camera when a guy took a crowbar, crashed the glass and broke in." In July of 2021, the FBI executed a search warrant at Duong's home, and they also had searched his vehicle. They found the Japanese mask that he was wearing, or he wore to the Capitol, that was inside of Duong's car, inside of his trunk. The prosecutor said that the agents also found numerous loaded weapons in Duong's home, none of which were locked up. They were all easily accessible to anyone who walked through his house, they said, including a loaded 9mm handgun that was sitting in an unsecured gun case in the basement. And Duong's wife told the agents their 2-year-old son liked to play in the basement. So because of that, Duong was subsequently charged with state crimes, and he pleaded guilty to leaving a gun loaded and endangering a child under the age of 14. For those crimes, which could have ended in massive tragedy, he was sentenced to 2 years in jail. However, the judge suspended the entire sentence. In regard to the Capitol attack, the prosecutor said Duong continued to surveil the Capitol after January 6th. So this was part of his anti-government group. This was activities that they were doing. And we know this because the undercover officer ended up infiltrating Duong's group. So this undercover officer ended up attending some of their meetings, and the agent witnessed, quote unquote, destructive devices that were being assembled by Duong's group. He also was listening as these men were discussing how to make mustard gas, tear gas, bombs, Molotov cocktails. And Duong was collecting empty wine bottles. You guys might remember this when I, talked about his arrest. He said, Duong told this guy, the undercover officer, that he was going to use these bottles for Molotov cocktails. And when the undercover agent said, well, what are they for? Duong told him, quote, for me, I'm trying to look at this as a big picture scale. What's the end game here? In some sense, you could say the battle is already lost. We just haven't started really shooting each other yet. Or what if we devolve into something like the Spanish Civil War, where you have pockets of resistance? So in that conversation, Duong claimed that they were for self-defense, but a couple days later, he told the group and the undercover officer that the Molotov cocktails should be used or could be used to disable vehicles. So Duong was arrested on July 2nd of 2021, and he was charged with obstructing an official proceeding, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. In April of 2023, Duong pleaded guilty to an entirely different charge. He accepted a plea deal for the felony crime of civil disorder. So he was looking at up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and up to $250,000 in fines. However, the prosecutor requested only 4 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. As for his criminal history, this was really interesting. For some reason, the government redacted a really big section of text. Not something that I come across very often in these sentencing memos. Unfortunately, U.S. District Judge Paul Friedman presided over Duong's case. He tends to impose very weak sentences. This case was no exception. So Duong was sentenced to only 3 years of probation, not prison, probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So this guy endangers the life of his toddler, gets a slap on the wrist. He takes part in an attack on our Capitol to try to overturn a legitimate election, and he gets an even weaker slap on the wrist. I will absolutely not be shocked to hear if this guy commits future crimes. I will definitely let you know. But yeah, there you go. So, and again, this would probably be one of the ones that Donald Trump is going to pardon anyway. So take that for whatever it is, right? It is what it is. All right. I will let you all know if or when I hear more about this guy. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Please donate if you possibly can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.